just agree? Can we just agree that this is Doctrine and Devotion, a podcast that focuses on theology from a Reformed Baptist perspective, and that I'm Joe and you're Jimmy? Can we just agree on that? Can we just start there? Is that okay?
I feel like you're referencing something and I have no context. Context.
You don't need context. The listeners know.
Context.
Yeah. What was the last episode we recorded?
I don't know. What was the last one?
Well, if you don't know,
I don't know.
The last time we met and recorded something.
I don't. Do you remember what we said last Monday? For last Monday's episode?
No, the last.
Banter of Truth?
This is easy. It's the last one we recorded, and that was 2 or 3 weeks ago.
I don't remember this.
All right, it's fine. It was Krista was here, you were here, and I was yelling at you guys like, let's just agree on this first, then we'll move on.
Thank you for the context.
Yeah, you knew what it was. You just like to make me talk. Hey, everybody, how you doing? They can't say it. They can't talk.
I'm Jim Fowler, executive pastor.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Yeah.
How you doing? You were tired yesterday.
Boy, I was. Yeah, I didn't get any sleep that night. That would have been Friday night.
Yeah,
and
Friday
then,
night.
Last night I did get some sleep.
Nice.
But I was up watching Murderville.
I really want to watch that.
Dude.
I really want to watch that.
I don't even watch a lot of comedies and stuff like that.
No, comedy is not you. Anything that brings joy is not really you.
I don't even got time for that.
No.
You know what makes me happy? Misery.
Yeah,
that's what I like. Man, it's definitely funny. And yeah. But anyways, I stayed up late because I wanted to watch some of that. And I got up today and I got to the church building before worship, and I was setting everything up. You know,
doing your thing.
And I'm sitting there and I got time, so I have a little cigar.
Nice.
And started to doze off.
Ooh.
That could have been disastrous. So
speaking of summer light,
I made it. Yeah. Oh, look at that nice lighter.
Nice lighter.
Mm-hmm. Classy, It's pretty nice.
I actually get a lot of feedback on that lighter.
Yeah. Listen, it's a great lighter. The fact that it has a groove cut out of the top of a wide lighter for a stand, and it's a super solid table lighter.
Yes.
It's 100% better just because of that one feature. Oh, it's so cool.
Yep, I love it. Thank you.
Yeah. Merry Christmas.
Yeah, I'm using it. It's February, and I still haven't. It's not like in my drawer. It's not like
you didn't re-gift it.
I didn't re-gift it,
Steve.
Why would I give it to Steve?
I don't know. Bonus.
Yeah,
the only bonus he's gonna get
is my used lighter.
Junk you don't want. No, it was a good day. Sunday, we got to see everybody. We saw Brentforders in visiting from Michigan. The family. You guys know what it's like. You got people that are a real part of your church, and then they move away. They go to another state. Maybe that's where their family's at, or where their job is, or
just to get away from us.
Yeah, whatever it is. And then they're back in town visiting, and we got to see them. It was so cool.
Nice. Yep. Mm-hmm. No, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
It was a good Sunday, and yeah. And now we get to hang out.
Now we get to relax.
Yep. Have a cigar and talk a little bit about the Bible and answer some emails.
There we go. Let's look at some of these emails. Here's one right here.
Mm-hmm.
What's this? Jofo versus Spotify.
This is from Ben.
All right. Ben writes, "Hey guys, in light of the recent controversy with Neil Young and Joe Rogan, I must ask you guys the question. If Neil Young gave Spotify the ultimatum that they must remove either his music or your podcast, which one would be removed?"
That's we actually get this question a lot.
My gosh, people are worried.
We are on Spotify.
Yeah, and
not exclusively.
No. But it's quite important for Spotify to keep us.
Yeah, they know what they got. Mm-hmm. I think they've learned their lesson that cool people and their podcasts take priority over liberal musicians who
freedom of speech.
Yeah. Yeah, we thanks, Ben. We love you, man. That's fun.
But we'll be gone.
Yeah, they they don't know who we are, and if they even got annoyed with us, they might just
they might just listen and be like, too much banter.
Yeah. Yeah, and then the guys are they're not just conservative, but they're Bible believing evangelical Baptist types. Yeah. A lot of reasons for us to actually just be dismissed. All right, we got another email.
This could be for you.
I forgot the guy's name.
Yeah, you go ahead and take this.
Hello, Joe. My 13-year-old son, Richard. Aw.
What?
You guys went with Richard? All right.
Really?
I'm judging how you named your kid. No, Richard's a strong name. I like it. My 13-year-old son, Richard, is really into metal and hard rock music, and I was hoping you could recommend some good bands. I tend to listen to hip-hop, so I'm no help. Thanks. Love the podcast. Been listening for a good while now. live a good story to the glory of God. Hey, by the way, I like it when people have their own signature send-off, right? Like Excelsior or or whatever it is. Like live a good story to the glory of God. That's all right. I like that.
Yeah. Hey. Guess what? We're stealing it.
Oh, yeah. Hey,
trademark.
Thanks. Yep. Oh, yeah. We will trademark it.
Trademark.
And then you will get in trouble for using it.
Don't ever use it again.
That's how it works. Okay. Well, yeah, it's hard to answer because there are so many different kinds of metal. Some people
and all bow before Meatloaf.
Okay. No, but
all bow,
especially no. But he did.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, he's dead. So sad. I would say this. Send us another email and give me some of the bands that he loves already. Something that he really likes already. I assume you're asking in general and not for Christian bands because there are only a handful of Christian bands that I think.
Well, why don't we give it's 13-year-old kid?
Yeah.
Why don't you go ahead and give them the Christian bands?
Oh, and I'll give them safe secular bands.
There you go.
Yeah. So Extol is a good band. Some of their albums are terrible, but some of their albums are the best when they were released. They were really great. Check out Extol's Burial and Undeceived and their self-titled most recent album, Extol. So those are good. If he likes like I don't know what you call it, but August Burns Red, very good, but it's not my genre of metal, but they're very talented. A Hill to Die Upon, another good Christian band doing metal, very death blacky kind of metal, but good and respected. But
so, all right, now this is my ignorance. For those of us that are not in evil. When I didn't say evil.
No, that's what other people would say about it. Yeah.
So you just said, like, what's the difference then between, like, deathy metal?
Yeah, death metal and black metal?
Yeah.
So stylistically, death metal has a higher production quality, and it's because black metal intentionally, historically, had lower production quality.
All right.
Vocals were guttural and deep, for death metal, whereas black metal, it was more shrill and screechy, almost no melody in the original styles of black metal. Death metal has more melody. And then there are subgenres of each of it. Black metal emerged as a response to death metal. It was characterized by Odinism and Satanism. They burned a lot of churches in Norway. There were some murders. Like, it came out of a really dark place. But as the genre evolved, now there are all kinds of people doing various kinds of black metal. And the only kind of black metal that I really enjoy tends to be what they call atmospheric black metal, because it has melody and usually orchestration as well as the other stuff. And it's not all about the devil. So I would say this, try Insomnium. Insomnium, and Borknagar. Those are the two albums I'm going to recommend. Secular bands. Insomnium is one band, but Borknagar is the other. Clean lyrics. It's all about winter and like
winter is coming.
Yeah. It's kind of like that. Yeah, it's basically about suffering, hardship, life, beauty, death, all that. There you go. All right. Hey Jimmy, you want to take the next one?
Sure. Here we go. Children's ministry.
LT.
Jofo. Biblically, we know that women are barred from being pastors.
Barred!
There are certainly places where women could do ministry within the church. However, pastor elder is not one.
Not one.
I'm assuming that because youth pastors have pastor in the title, that a children's minister similarly could be considered a pastor as well. Would this be a fair assessment? Should women be children's ministers? I mainly ask because I attended a church for years where the children's minister was a woman, and I didn't think much of it until recently. Thanks. It's a great.
That's all.
That's a.
I thought there was a postscript that he had.
I can't see it. My eyes are getting bad. So LT,
editorial
I really
license
appreciate. Okay, fine. P.S. Jimmy is definitely the podcast one.
Definitely, I like that.
With that, then I will then submit to you to respond first.
Okay. So let's say this on the front end. Just because a church is using titles like pastor doesn't even mean that they have a concept of what a pastor is. And I'm not saying that about this particular church or churches that might have. I just know, like, I have friends that have the title youth pastor, but they are not elders. It's like they have the title of pastor. It doesn't. Pastor and elder in the scripture are the same thing. Pastor, elder, same thing. But in a lot of these churches, pastor just means you have the responsibility for leading a particular ministry. You're not an elder. And so if that's the case, that gets a little more confusing. So, and a children's minister, or it isn't any biblical office. So I don't personally care who a children's minister is.
Because I mean, it's saying like we have ministry leaders.
Yeah,
it's not an office,
right? It's not an office. They're not. So, and listen, people might call me super liberal, but I'm not concerned if a woman is a competent, called ministry leader who oversees children's ministry. I think that's fine. But it's maybe in some cases they might even have a children's pastor who isn't an elder. Now we're talking semantics. I don't like that word being applied to a woman because it's supposed to be applied to an office. So I guess I would say, one, you have to figure out what they mean by the words they're using, and then two, if they're called a children's minister, they're not elders. They're not pastors. Even I would assume by that church's standards, because they're not using the word. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm not concerned about it. What about you, Jimmy?
Yeah, I mean, I think it is confusing for some, because a lot of times people talk about, ministers, and they interchange that, especially in I'm trying to think of certain context, like not necessarily Roman Catholic context, but they would assume like a minister is a pastor, right? They would assume that minister has some sort of function and role of authority as a pastor. Yeah. And so I definitely think it's a bit confusing. Yeah. I mean, I've heard, so yeah, maybe it's just all semantics now then, right? Children's ministry lead, things like that. But it's like, I think it still comes down to, we've talked about this before about women preaching. That it's under the authority of the elders, authority of the pastors. So this individual is not, regardless of whether it's a man or a woman, that's a children's minister, they're not just doing what they want when they want. It's under the direction of the elders. Yeah. And it's under the guidance of the elders, the accountability of the elders. But I think once you start slapping that term pastor, it becomes really confusing then. Yeah,
like this whole thing. You said, should women be children's ministers? Okay, hang on. Before that, youth pastors have pastor in the title. A children's minister similarly could be considered a pastor as well. Would that be a fair assessment? I would say no. First of all, like I said, many youth pastors aren't pastors in the sense that they are elders, so it's already a mess. And so I wouldn't assume that a youth minister or children's minister is a pastor. But since they're using these terms, I would want to know. And if it was my church, I would just be like, hey, man, I need to know who's doing what. Like, what are the roles? Are all elders pastors? Are all pastors elders? Or are you using this word, not biblically? And which is whatever. It's, you can do what you want. But like, how is this working out? Just follow up and find out. But yeah, ultimately, for me, it comes down to, are you functionally and or formally a pastor / elder? That is limited to qualified called men. Yeah. Functionally and formally. That's what I would say.
Because I wouldn't even want to slap children's minister on someone that's not qualified and called just because they're a man. Even though it's not a role of pastor, right? Oh, yeah. But like, I'm just saying the title itself is useless.
Right. But you wouldn't put anybody, forget the title, you wouldn't put anybody in that position.
That's not qualified or called.
Yeah. So it all goes together. It's like the whole thing.
Can we just agree?
Can we just start here? Don't go past this point. Simon says stop.
You're going to go too fast.
Now, okay, it's lost. if you didn't listen to our awesome episode with Krista, you're lost. All right, listen, we got one here. This is a good one for. I'll throw this one at you. This is from Jacoby.
Got it.
Hi, with I don't know how many eyes.
So he goes like this. Ready? He goes. Hi, guys.
10-second high.
That's a 10-second high.
I am in the process of starting planning for a men's conference at our church. I was wondering what you would say makes a good men's conference. Feel free to use this as a mailbag question for an episode or shoot email back. He does not believe in punctuation. All right. He's planning a men's conference for the church. What makes a good men's conference? Yeah, good question. All right, a good men's conference, Jimmy.
Yeah, the ones that I've been at that
don't suck,
that have been fantastic, is I think there needs to be time for fellowship. Right, I want to have those times. I want to
find fellowship.
Sorry, those times where I can interact with other men and get to know them on a better level.
So you do not have to do anything during that time, but other than hang. You can go for a walk or sit around.
Go for a walk. You can sit around the table.
Free time
for
fellowship.
And I think that's where maybe this is where a lot of men's or just conferences in general, I think, get it wrong. Is they over programized everything.
Yep.
Every minute of the day is programmed and scheduled, and you got to move from this to this to this to this, and here's your 1 hour block of free time.
Yeah.
And even that is like, hey, you got a 1 hour block of free time. Why don't you go ahead and study that passage that we were just studying, because we're going to review it again at our next session.
And Jimmy's going to, at least 2/3 of that time, Jimmy's going to be on the can. So, I'm just saying.
That my best studying happens.
That's quiet, alone time. That's where I go.
It's in the quiet place.
Everybody knows where I go to it's secret.
It's secret.
I agree. So one of the things, these are not in order, but one of the things, give them a relaxed schedule, meaning there is a schedule. Mm-hmm. There are things that they need to be at, things that need to be done, but relax. So there's room. You got to have breathing room in there. So schedule time for fellowship. So like, hey, this is free time, but then also allow some margin in there so that it can also just happen
organically.
Right. I think that's good. I'll throw something in.
Go ahead.
And listen, you guys know, if you're a regular, like, I don't like doing anything.
Nothing.
We had a men's retreat, our first men's retreat in 14 years.
Yeah.
And so our guy was putting it together, team was putting it all together. And I told him, I go, listen, I don't do things. So I'm going to go. I just want you to know, like, I'm not going to be building boats and out of cardboard and like floating them. I'm not going to do that, but I will be there. I'll cheer everybody on. I'll be present. And I'm not going to play softball. No, I'm not doing that.
I'm not going to join in the fellowship that the rest of the guys are having.
No, I will join in the fellowship. I'm just not going to play the games.
I'm not going to join in the fellowship.
Games.
The activity fellowship.
I will be there and I am participating. I'm just not playing the games.
I'm going to spectate while you guys are doing it.
I'm going to officiate.
I will but that, hold on.
Mm-hmm. I could
officiating is different.
See?
That's different.
But I'm not doing the whole. But anyways, what I was going to say is the guys loved, you guys have seen this before. They each have this equal amount of cardboard and duct tape, and they got to build a boat that they can then race in a little thing. Guys loved it. So they do like some activities. So I would say plan some specific activities, but vary them. So like if it's a men's retreat, like give them a chance to build a boat, then also give them a chance if they want to go for, hey, a group's going to go for a run or like at this, like mix it up. We're going to play a game, like whatever I don't know what they played. I don't know. What did they play? They played something. They played some kind of game over there.
Basketball?
Maybe it was. I'm not allowed to play basketball anymore. Too dominant. But anyway.
You're the LeBron of the church team.
Yeah, I think that like some of that structure.
Actually, be Bugsy. But continue. Those that know will know.
Okay. So I would say this: put in some activities, but always make sure that people know the activities are optional. Guys that go on the retreat, 90% of them are going to want to do the activities, but there are going to be some guys that are just like socially like, I'm just not,
And they might be fairly new to the church. Yeah. They might be, maybe they came with a friend, like things like that. They're uncomfortable.
So don't
force it.
Yeah, don't force it. Let people, ease into stuff.
They might be Pastor Joe.
Might be me. Because I ain't playing.
No,
I'll take pictures.
Yeah.
See, I can do that.
See, yeah.
So like, I want to be there.
Yeah.
I'm just,
I just don't want to be there with you.
If you want to go for a smoke,
Joe's the guy. Joe's the guy.
I think. What about? Here's another thing. I think you have to determine: is this retreat going to be more on teaching or more on the fellowship? Because it is going to be one.
Define your purpose.
And so, and it's good to have different kinds of retreats. Sometimes you need one that's going to be heavier on teaching. But I know, like at Redeemer, we're a teaching heavy church. Like we are preaching. Any preacher that gets up there, it's going to be theological. It's going to be. We have small groups and all this stuff. So like we value that. So something like this, we are going to want to leverage the fellowship end and make sure that guys are really getting into it. So I think that anything else, what would you add to a good men's retreat? Good food.
Yeah, good food.
Spend some cash to make sure the food is decent. Good. Like put money towards that.
Yeah. No, I think you hit it. I was going to talk about the teaching aspect of it. Yeah, I think even if you're focused on fellowship, still maintain a level of teaching.
Yeah, you got to have it.
You know,
you just don't have to have 8 hours of it.
You don't have to have 8 hours of it. Still have some level of teaching, and so then after you define your purpose, actually lay out what the teaching is going to look like and what the goal of the teaching is.
Yeah, for sure.
So if you know, hey, this is going to be fellowship heavy, the teaching is going to be on some aspect of, I don't know, fellowship. Let's just go with that. We're not going to sit here then and go, we're going to explore the book of Acts. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, no, instead, why don't we go ahead and just explore the relationship with Paul and Barnabas?
Yeah, more specific.
More specific.
Yeah.
You know what? We're going to do 3 sessions on, mentoring relationships, looking at Paul and Barnabas, Paul and Timothy.
Yeah. Yeah, because again, it's like if you went to college or graduate school, like like when you write a paper, if your thesis is terrible, they'll just send it back to you. They'll be like, that it's too broad.
Yeah.
There's nothing to prove, essentially. Like, that's not, you've got to have a proper thesis.
Yeah.
And I think that goes.
But sometimes they do. They're like, oh, we want to make sure people are getting the best bang for the buck. Romans. We're doing Romans.
Okay. You know what you're not doing? Romans. That's what you're not doing.
You're not doing Romans in a weekend.
Romans in a weekend. It's not going to happen. You're going to do That's all you're going to get. You're not getting any farther than the very beginning of the first syllable of that word. So I think I think that's good. You know what? A good idea, and maybe this is just me, but I think, I definitely believe this. Have somebody dedicated to taking pictures during the event, because like it's really cool to look back at the event that you were at, to see pictures of yourself. People like, most people like to see a picture of themselves if it's a nice picture.
Well, it reminds them of the time that they had, right? And even like maybe there's photos that they're not in, but they remember that activity, or they remember some inside joke that happened at that moment.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, you get to see yourself, which is nice. You get to see like all the things that were happening there. You can share them. You can share them on social media. Like, you can show that to other people in the church. Like, oh, I want to go to that. That looks like a good time. So it's not super complicated. You just have to think it out. Like, you have to plan it, and the bigger they get, obviously, the more complicated they can be. And a lot of work goes into it. Even if you have a small church like us, and you're going to take 40 guys out, that there is a lot of work that goes into it.
Yeah, a lot of logistics.
Yeah, so maybe I shouldn't say it's not complicated. It's not too complicated, I would say that way. But it definitely takes an eye for some detail and a whole lot of planning. Give yourself a nice long time to plan. Don't try to throw it together too quick.
Plan, make sure you're promoting. You got to plan it, you got to promote it, and then you got to pursue it.
Yeah, perfect it.
And then perform it. Yes.
I think I feel like perfected and performing are kind of the same thing.
Not really.
No?
Because you perfected the plan, now you're performing.
Oh, you perfect the plan. Okay, then you're performing.
Performing said plan.
Then when you're done, you praise God.
We'd love to hear your thoughts. You can follow us online on Instagram and Twitter @DocAndDevo, or on Facebook/Doctrine and Devotion. You can head to the website, drdevotion.com. There you can contact us. You can sign up for the email blast, or hit up the store, jofostore.com, and grab some gear. We got that fresh pot every Monday and Thursday. We got blog posts and video content over at the website. We've also got that all-access exclusive content, Joe.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
It is really nice.
I feel like it's nice to get devotions 5 days a week.
Yeah, weekday wisdom, Monday through Friday.
Banter of Truth podcast.
Every Tuesday. And you know where they go?
They go to doctrinedevotion.com/all-access, or if on your phone right there, just scroll down in your pod reader and you can probably find a link. It says support this podcast. That's how you can get in right there.
Later.